The one thing I know about God is I know that God is always going to help me. And I know that there are certain situations where, you expect God to give you a yes, but when God sometimes gives you a no, sometimes it takes time to realize why did God say no to you. And there's just something about knowing that God is God, knowing that God, He's going to come through. He's going to help me because I look at it like this: when a person has revelation, they've seen it. They understand what it's like for God to do a thing. They understand what it's like, to have faith, to believe something that you can't see, but you know is coming. And, I rest in that, and I rest and I have peace in that. I have peace and understanding, just understanding who God is. And, I used to be so far gone. I used to be like, I was so broken in my life that, you know, I was broken to a point where I didn't believe in God. Like, I was broken to the point where I challenged God and my beliefs for Him because I was like, there's no way. There's no way that a God like this God could allow the things that happened to me as a child, being sexually assaulted, being molested. There's no way that this God exists. And I remember, I was rebelling against God, and I was like, God, who is God? Like, whatever. And I remember I would never get up for church. I would never give my money. I was just out there. I was addicted to relationships. Um, I was addicted to alcohol. I was just addicted to pain. Like, I wanted to stay there. I wanted to live there. And I just remember, the things of this world. I just looked at the things of this world as if it was like, the idols and everything like that. And I remember, going through those seasons of my life where I was like, I didn't trust God, I didn't believe God. And I remember when I got my job out of college, and I was like, yes, I graduated from A&T, and I got my very first job. And I just remember, I idolized this job. I thought I was the baddest, I was the baddest chick out here. You know what I'm saying? I was it. And I had an ego, and it was nasty. I'm telling you the truth, it was nasty. And I remember when I got laid off, the recession hit. And I ain't had no money saved up. I was not prepared. Nobody ever talked to me about money. And I remember when the recession hit and my boss calls me into the office, and you can just tell he's just stressed out. And he's just like, we're not letting you go because we don't like you. It's that we can't afford to keep you. And I was like, what? And I remember leaving out the door, being so upset, crying, devastated. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I remember just believing that this job was God. This job was everything. And I remember going to one of my mentors, and she talked to me, and she said, you got 24 hours to feel bad for yourself. And she said, you're gonna get up the next day, and you're gonna make some connections. You're not gonna be in this pity party. And I was like, man, like, that's some powerful stuff to say to somebody who just got laid off. And um I remember going to my apartment, and I was crying. My job let me go. That job was God, man, to me. And I remember getting in the floor, and I was just crying, crying, crying. And I remember this voice. It was so sure, and it sounded like my spirit. And I was like, who is this talking? That voice said, get up. And I was like, what? Get up. I was like, man, I'm already on this floor. I ain't getting up. And that voice said, you ain't got nowhere else to go. You already at the bottom. You might as well get up. And I remember getting up, and I don't know what came over me, but I said to myself, I'm about to go get all those contacts that I worked with when I worked at that job, and I'm going to I'm going to get my stuff, I'm going to get my information. And I called up there. They tried to tell me to come back to the workplace on a weekend. No, honey, I showed up. They was trying to monitor me as I was in the office. And, they were trying to say sorry to me. And I was just like, No, I'm here to get. I said I'm coming into the building regardless. I already had the keys, y'all. So I just remember just something like bubble came over me. Something so just it was just like this fire came up inside of me, man. And I just remember being like, man, I gotta make this happen for me. And I remember that voice speaking to me, telling me to get up. And I got up and I kept thinking about the prodigal son. And literally, I said, I'm gonna go to church on Sunday. Because I didn't go to church. I said, I'm gonna go to church on Sunday. I go into the church, they talking about the prodigal son, y'all. God was like calling me in every place in my life. I remember I spent a whole year surrendering, couldn't find a job, couldn't get hired, couldn't find a job. Ended up eventually working for the governor of North Carolina. But God taught me a journey of faith. He taught me the revelation of the evidence of things unseen. Like He taught me how to sow into a thing. I used to write my tithes and offering. I used to get $333 a week from unemployment. And I used to like literally sow a $33 seed every week at Bible study. And I would put on there my job for my job. And I would name the seed and I would pray over it and the job would never come. It literally waited. And I would write in my journal. I would pray about it. I would cry about it. And I remember how God taught me. He taught me he taught me about the evidence of faith. He taught me about Hebrews 1. He taught me. And I promise you, I was on fire for God to the point I was texting people nonstop about God. I couldn't help it because I didn't know who this was. And I was like, you know what? Whatever this is, I'm going to follow it. And I ended up following God to the place where it's like God has taken me through journeys. He's taken me from being broke. He's taken me from being like not humble to being humble. He's taken me to and fro. And he's taken me to places where I've learned how to trust him. I trust in his word. I trust in his voice. I trust in his presence because I can't do nothing without him. That's how bad I trust him. And the thing about me in my life is that I don't move forward without him. Because the times that I do, I mess it up. That's right. The times that I move forward and something I mess it up. And I always just be like, God, if you don't want me to do it, I ain't gonna do it. God, if you don't want me to pursue it, I ain't gonna pursue it. But God, when you say pursue it, I'm going for it. And that's where I'm at in my life. That's where I'm at. So the thing about knowing that who God is really about having that revelation that He's going to do what He said He's going to do. Having that revelation that He's going to heal my body. Having that revelation that God is going to come through. That's my daddy, y'all. The times when my real daddy wasn't acting like my daddy, oh, it was God, baby. Straight up, straight up. The times that mentally I wasn't here, I lost it. Baby, I'm talking about the bird that flew the coop, gone. God was right there in the road with me every time. Every time I went through some stuff, every time I was going through some things, God was with me the whole time. You can't sit here and tell me He ain't good because I know He's good. You can't sit here and tell me He's not a provider when I've seen my bank account be in the negative and I've seen thousands show up. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that He can't heal your body when I've seen Him heal. I felt Him heal me. You cannot tell me who God isn't because I've already had the revelation. And whatever else He wants to reveal to me in this lifetime, I promise you, I'll spend my life learning it. I'll spend my life desiring it. I'll spend my life pursuing it and going after it because that's what I want. I want them. I gotta have them. So I pray that this word blesses you, just to have the revelation to know who God is, to seek Him, to pursue Him, to seek His face, just be in His presence. And then if you're holding something against somebody, forgive that person. Because you don't want anything coming between you and His presence. You don't want anything coming in between you and the blessing of just knowing that God has stepped into the room, that his everything, His essence is here. I don't ever want to be in a space where God ain't there. I want to be where He at. I want to be close to Him. I want to know Him. I gotta know Him. I can't do it without Him, y'all. Be blessed.